Say judge can command the ruling. Now, so if says judge no rule now, Marco Sandy court to say unless the judge, the chief justice invite you say, my boy won't buy. Now, about man rule now, maybe mock the 2 hour court to say upon my rule no share. That is you are attacking the judiciary, and that is treasonable. Wow, I think marking should have gone to court, say Bagbin, because Article 2 no. I mean, can't hold him also. Or see, a person who alleges that an enactment or anything contained in or done under the authority of that or any other enactment or any act or omission of any person is inconsistent with or is in contravention of a provision of this constitution may bring an action in the Supreme Court for a declaration to that effect. So that means I use the mechanical principle. At the effective say move free parliament because you have vacated your position.
Yes.
So you are no longer members of parliament. So now the minority then has become majority by their standing orders.
Okay.
Wow. Say Bagbin kasa now what you article 2 so 2:1 so say o kokota. Okay, court. Now court no go interpret article 97 1 G and H. By that, the court has no power to enjoin parliament, to impede the proceedings in parliament, to stop them. Because any baby has to be stop. Yeah, you can make your declaration and everything. But your declaration does not cover parliament. It's an arm of government. It's a sovereign parliament to some extent. Sovereignty of parliament only bow to the
abusuan mo bibia kwa ban fambra kwa mjenti TV so o YouTube so ase abusuan ya ba ensama horo a ekoso e wo Ghana ha se no ana ya boabo bia no e ba besom message so daruma o de be chem se o hwe video no na matwa wo so ana ye bewi ni asa kwa enjoy the full story wo ba betie ensam ni nyina in fact de ekoso bia no me de ba besom e wo ha se message so daruma ene de din kan ana hwe me ana so ta hwe na nya subscribe ya wadarum buni de kwa so no abo subscribe button so wi a feel free so be che wadwen e comment section ho e ho ye wo dia na mum ano ma comment no ho ate e dia ma me abusunya me mpese me kase betente yenko ni nkwiti ensem no emfamra
wow yenko article 122 an act or omission which obstructs or impedes parliament in the performance of its function until the muka injunct parliament no where in the constitution can you say you can injunct parliament? You can't injunct parliament by article 122 no. Or say an act or omission which obstructs or impedes parliament in the performance of its functions, or which obstructs or impedes a member or officer of parliament in the discharge of his duties, or affront the dignity of parliament, or which tends either directly or indirectly to produce that result, is contempt of parliament. That's why Obuka deploy police for soldier for call we say because you don't know what you are talking about. The soldier has no business in parliament. Let me tell you, the marshal is an officer of parliament.
Okay.
Police follow what parliament, you know, is under the control of the marshal, not the IGP.
Oh, Samum.
Of course, the marshal under what parliament or what I want do what parliament don't know, and the marshal also take instruction from the speaker and the clerk. Wow, it's a little and that's why your phone parliament. You are going to attack an arm of government.
Yes, after 1 hour no more, if Johnny free.
No, are you going to attack an arm of government? That's treasonable. If you try to attack an arm of government, you're treasonable. And parliament is an arm of government. The executive is an arm of government. The judiciary is an arm of government. Say judge can command the ruling. Now, so if says judge no rule now, Marco Sandy court to say unless the judge, the chief justice invite you say, my boy won't buy. Now, about man rule now, maybe mock the 2 hour court to say upon my rule no share. That is you are attacking the judiciary, and that is treasonable. Wow, I think marking should have gone to court, say Bagbin because article 2:1 no. I mean, can't hold him also. Or see, a person who alleges that an enactment or anything contained in or done under the authority of that or any other enactment or any act or omission of any person is inconsistent with or is in contravention of a provision of this constitution may bring an action in the Supreme Court for a declaration to that effect. So that means I use a mechanical principle. At the effect, say move free parliament because you have vacated your position.
Yes.
So you are no longer members of parliament. So now the minority then has become majority per their standing orders.
Okay.
Wow. Say Bami Kasa now what you article 2 so 2-1 so say o kokota. Okay, kokot. Now court no ko interpret article 97 1 G and H. By that no, the court has no power to enjoin parliament, to impede the proceedings in parliament, to stop them. Because any baby has to be stop. Yeah, you can make your declaration and everything. But your declaration does not cover parliament. It's an arm of government. It's a sovereign parliament to some extent. Sovereignty of parliament only bow to the constitution.
Okay.
And the constitution gives them the power to do whatever that they are doing. And the constitution gives them the power to have their standing orders that will guide their actions. Their actions in the house. So per their standing orders, they do what they have to do. So if the Supreme Court interpret Article Article 97 1 G and H, which is not in consonance with what Bagbin did now, then the members of parliament will be restored.
Okay.
But you know what?
David.
I believe and rightly believe that the Supreme Court will interpret Article 97 1 G and H as Bagbin has interpreted.
The same.
They will do the same thing. But do you know what they are doing?
David.
They are using the double level principle. In fact,
Double level, yeah.
Double level.
Former or the
Court, almost said double level as some no womb. But somebody has some immediately. President in Beguasi.
It's your chairman.
Yeah, chairman, Papa call retirement. Nigga, so he was the act the executive took was wrong. The same thing. On percent parliament we are near Article 1, Article 97 1 G and H, the way the speaker interpreted it, and your papa, you're very confused, Santi. No, you're MP, no, you're MCE, this is secretary. I'm in Fee West. Wasa Amenfi West constituency. No, you're NDC new. Now, Tama, you defeated NDC the year 2000. Ni do say and before your migration come go NDC. So they started buying some of our MPs.
Okay, so share the kakra. May 31, 2023, Supreme Court declares Akufo-Addo's directive for Domelevo's forced leave unconstitutional.
They could have done it within 1 week. within 1 day.
It's no minimum salary.
I didn't know.
But the intentional, whether intentional.
Waited.
But every other time in any one swap.
Many they could have done it. This thing was against his human right. It was against his human right. But they slept on it and allowed it to go.
They ruled against the president. Actions, whatever say, ya Domelevo so. Say, Kwanya. President Faso Forso Yadom level, former Auditor General. So uncle leave and farmer can be a constitution.
But his human right has been violated.
The
same thing. And Crawford Nai may say, looking at Article 1, you see, Article 97 1G, is clear and unambiguous, which is Republic versus Mekankan. Clear and unambiguous. Minya obi oye government SSS na omo na so government or secondary school I don't know
government
and now omo na question social science
government omo go so here
omo government
general art for no yeah sure
general art
yeah
your secondary
government
school
is the general art
yeah history and government they alternate
yeah
Our here government, you know, the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. Separation of powers. What am I saying? Nina is simple. Opa, for government students. Lemon Article 97, 1G.
So interpreted.
And H. No, interpret. Okay. Some question.
Okay.
So, what is the meaning of Article 170? Okay. So far the person, and then no almost scenario.
Okay.
It's a form of same way in Chumka 7 December, number 2 Basolet, Pews Preview slogan, it goes so Bomonkai. Saying them fear when you near must be on the road.
Say, as I see, if you say, the thing also, every before us stretchy, the argument is say, is another professor say, Professor Asari of US, or say, it's an intention to contest. But the article, you see, if you leave parliament, the article says nothing about whether you are going to contest election or not. Or say, if you join a political party, whether you join a political party and then or Chechi 100 years, once you join a political party, you are out of parliament.
But say Unya intention even to commit a crime.
This has not even this
offense.
This has nothing to do with this has nothing to do with this has everything to do with action.
Okay.
Your action is just saying. Party A the buy is also you are independent. You are out of parliament. Whether you happy. Also notwithstanding Article 97(2) no. If there is a measure, and the MP measure on political party with all independents in Ghana, all independent candidates in Ghana. If you met them there, you cannot be thrown out of parliament.
So now, or we need the annual video.
David, I'll say, if there is a measure, 97(2) no, Mamika 97(2).
Okay.
97(2), Article 97(2). I say, notwithstanding paragraph G
of clause 1
of this article, a measure of parties at the national level sanctioned by the parties constitution or membership of a coalition government of which his original party forms part shall not affect the status of member of parliament. And it's NPP no NPP no merge with independent candidates. Merge with Alan Chamanti. Salamanti or call independent. And movement. Merge with like you say all independent candidates. You merge with them, and they will continue to stay in parliament. Wow, anyway, simple and straightforward. Let me tell you, over the weekend, Supreme Court can decide to sit Saturday and
Tuesday.
City Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to come out with interpretation of this article.
Sabia, if you can't one sitting crowd will do
this provision, and I'm giving them time. This provision, me see, the Supreme Court, they can give you clear, ambiguous. But they will not do it because if they do it, the NPP who came to government 169 seats, it came down to 137, and now they have gone to opposition in parliament.
To the
government, that minority in parliament.
Party now for
during the course of the deliberation, Madina MP, no.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, correction. I see. They put majority into bracket. Muyi bracket in few no. I say majority in parliament. And the correction was made. So it is an official document. Said the NDC is the majority in parliament. And it say no. Bagbin adjoining Sinidai. Wow. Indefinite. But at the same time, no. NPP mu eni da so. Mu eni da so no. Article 112.
Article 112.
Article 112 no. NPP for eni da so. Article 112(3). I say notwithstanding any other provision of this article, 50% of members of parliament may request a meeting of parliament, and the speaker shall, not may, shall within 7 days after the receipt of the request summon parliament. 15, not 15. 15. And before it just one no, they can summon parliament, but the speaker is sending on your signature now. They do call or chairman your signature now. Adam your signature no on the table of parliament no. The speaker has how many days? 7 days and 7 days.
Yeah. Article 1 now can you?
Article 1123.
1123 now can. Okay.
7 days. Now 7 days. Who say I can't 15 days? Inka 50 sitting days. No, not just say Parliament I dissolve near election.
Okay, so the 112 is talking 1123 is talking about 15%.
15% of members of Parliament.
Members of Parliament.
So Bagbin adjourn Senator.
Okay.
But 15% can, if you gather signatures of 50% of members of Parliament to come and deliberate something that is very important.
15% doesn't make up of both the minority.
Any members
So
of
I say,
Parliament.
notwithstanding any other
It can be
provision
any
of
side.
this article, 15% of members of Parliament may request a meeting of Parliament, and the Speaker shall within 7 days after the receipt of the request summon Parliament. And
So-
country on yeah.
Omanya no china na this require
Within
echo.
7 days, you know.
Within 7 days, you know. Until omoya na Bagbin can decide to wait 7 days.
So per this provision in the constitution, no. Say within this week now, the Parliament between a
Now omo ade ne ba. Se me nia masana mo na kam Parliament. Because Supreme Court for interpretation.
for
Interpretation of these 15 days, you know.
Oh yeah, Chumazo.
That be Sebo, you don't.
Me no so tiasi. The lawyers no contest it. You better answer the same day.
Yeah, 50%. There just say 7 dabi me to go Supreme Court to make sure say we stay.
Bravo. Wrap it up, Mamina. Menkonias.
Enti ni American say interpretation of Bagbin I use mechanical principle no, which is Republic versus mechanical. Hey, is it Bannerman CJ? No, Judge no man, no Chief Justice. No, master mechanical principle no. It has not been overruled, but there is another principle